everybody.
Good
Hello,
morning.
Damilare.
Thank you. So my first question goes to Nancy. We're mixing your dialogue with English and Pidgin. I wanted to get a sense of if you talk to the director about why was my character code switching and like what does it mean for this character?
For the character. Okay, it's fantastic that you asked that question. Thank you so much for that question. Damilare from Shock. But it was actually our idea. The entire script was in English. It was my idea, my co-star idea to change things up. I wanted to bring in Nigerian into it because I knew this is going on a global platform. I needed people to watch it from wherever across the world and know that there's something called Pidgin in Naija. You understand? And we speak, majority of us speak in Pidgin. It's actually our daily life. We could have the cleanest English, but when it's time to switch to Pidgin, we're like, brabap.
Yeah.
So that's what I really wanted to bring in to the character, and the directors loved it.
Yeah.
I'm sure Netflix loved it because we had to do a screen test beforehand. They had to approve of everything that was done.
Yeah.
My co-star was ready to write it as well, and then we'll have times where Ini will be like, "Oh, how's this Pidgin? How's that Pidgin?" I'll be like, "Ini, what do you think about this? And what do you think about that?" So that was how we were able to bring in Pidgin. The entire production was aware of it, but it was a personal idea, a personal effect
Choice.
to the character. Yes.
And it's funny because it was even written in American English, not
Yes.
just regular. Yeah, because they'll say a lot of like cops. So like after discussing,
Yeah.
it was like, it just made sense. And
Yes.
especially for her character, because my character was putting up a front.
Yeah.
Not putting up a front, but she had to kind of acclimatize to the family she was marrying into. So more and more when she got stressed, you will not see her like, kind of switch. But yeah, I think I love that the directors loved that idea because it just needed to feel more authentic.
Interesting. Daniel, my next question goes to you. I'm a guest at the wedding, and I walk up to you, and I just ask for introduction. I'm trying to get a sense of what is going on.
Yes.
Can you, what would you say?
As the best man.
Yes.
As the best man. And I'm responding as Akin, the best man.
Yes.
Well, I'll tell the guest that we're experiencing some issues at the moment, but nothing to worry about. We'll get around to it really soon. The groom has just stepped out quickly to sort out a few things, and we're trying to get a hold of him. He must be stuck in traffic or something, but he'll be right with you. Relax. I'll tell them relax, have something to eat and drink. There's nothing to worry about. Everything is, great.
Under control.
Yeah.
Interesting. So that was like a pre-question. So now this is the main question.
Okay.
So of course there's confusion in the hall.
Yes.
You don't know what the heck the groom is.
Yes.
And the blood sisters, are somewhere they're plotting stuff, right?
Yes.
And then you are the person who is like trying to calm everybody down, and you're
Yes.
also talking to like the mom
Yes.
of Kola.
Yes.
At that particular moment where you guys were shooting the scene, I wanted to get a sense of how you were able to make sure you emoted, and then you also try as much as possible not to be, because you've read the script, right?
Yes.
You're trying as much as possible not to like
Give
you
up
are
too
in a
much.
state of consciousness,
Right.
Like a consciousness. I don't know if you understand my question, right?
question.
But can you just tell me how you as an actor, how you're able to dive into this moment? Because this is a very, very pivotal moment in
Right.
episode 1,
Right.
where
Right.
something has happened.
Right.
The event has been triggered.
Yes.
Tell me, your process of you executing the scene on the screen.
Okay, so for me as an actor, there are several tools that I have at my disposal, or I've learned to use at my disposal. The first tool is the material. You're given the material to work with. So you have the script, you have what is on ground. You have the story. So I've read that and I have that, and that's what I'm trying to communicate to my audience. Next tool I have at my disposal is my body, my physique. Now, I have all of that. I have my hands, my ears, my nose, my mouth, my face, all of that, my legs. I come into the scene with my body to work with. So second tool. Third tool is my mind. And in my mind, that's the box of magic. That's everything in there that I put into and I put out as well, input, output as well. I have all my memories. I have my idiosyncrasies. I have my personality to work with. I have all of that. I've been married before. I've been a best man before. I've been in that situation almost before, you know. So I have all of that to work with as well. Throw all of that into the mix and you create an explosion. And that's what I used in that scene, you know. I brought in my memories from when I married and the confusion, because during my marriage, I'm sitting down and I'm smiling like this, but in my head, there's a lot going on. I'm like, oh my goodness, who's going to pay for all of this? Oh my goodness, what's going on? Oh my goodness, did I order that? Where did that come from? Oh, so all of that is going on in your head, right? And then, of course, there's trouble. Now, how do you manage that trouble with the confusion? And how do you bring all of that out? Remember, you have read the whole script, but you have to be in the moment. You have to sort of like lie to yourself and tell yourself you don't know what happens after now. You have to be present in the moment and react to what is going on in that moment with your body and with the material.
Awesome, fantastic answer. Ini, let's go to you. So, my question is in terms of like how this is a global show that is going to over 160 countries across the world. So there's a backstory, right? Namaste Wahala, beautiful. The metrics on Netflix is crazy. It did huge. This is going to be like a second time for you because I've seen the first 2 episodes. Trust me, it's going to be like a global hit. And I'm trying to get a sense of what does this mean for you?
That's a beautiful question. So it's so interesting because with Namaste Wahala, obviously Namaste Wahala was it was a small budget film, and it was the first time for a lot of people. It was the first time director, first time DP, first time, you know, a bunch of people from Bollywood was coming. First time this kind of collaboration. So it was so many firsts. And, you know, the director was very plain on how literally she woke up with a dream. She has no clue what she's doing. She needs everyone to help her. And she did the best she could with that. And everybody poured as much love as they could into that film. And it wasn't intended for Netflix. It was supposed to go to the cinema.
Absolutely.
But God will have it, COVID happened, and she was like, no, I'm not, obviously it doesn't make any sense. And somehow she was able to get it on Netflix. And it's beautiful because the reaction towards it was polarizing. Some people thought it was the worst thing they watched. Some people thought it was the best thing they watched, and they would watch it 20 times. But for me, where I'm sitting, it was crazy. I've never experienced what I experienced with Namaste Wahala. Till tomorrow, people reach out from me from countries I can't even pronounce, countries I didn't even know existed. And they call me and they tell me that that was an experience they were facing, and they thank me for bringing that to life. And I'm like, where are all these people going? I've had film, like real projects that I was supposed to go and do in India. In fact, I had to choose between Blood Sisters and a series in India, in Bollywood. So like the result for me, it's been crazy. So I'm like, so when people say, oh, do you mind how, like I got a text from someone in film like, oh, so sorry for some of the reviews from Namaste. I'm like, are you joking? I would do Namaste Wahala exactly how it was 10 times over. Now there's Blood Sisters. I remember getting the audition site, and I knelt down and I said, God, you see this one? I want it. Because from just the site, I've had that situation twice before. Once with Battleguns and then with Oga Pastor that never ended coming out. And from the site, I knew that this was going to be special. And it's so funny, as an actor, those are 2 projects I had really special moments of discovering myself, but that's another day when we have more time to talk. Anyways, I knew this was going to be special even from the audition side, and I knew that I would have to give it everything I had. And then obviously just the fact that it's something that is going to be on a global stage. And then from filming, just everything, you know, when the stars align, look, let me tell you, it's so easy to sit down outside and then point at like, oh, Nollywood this, Nollywood that. But even people that have everything at their disposal, they don't always produce great stuff. So that's to show you that it's not very easy. And I feel like as an actor, like when the stars align for you, as a filmmaker just generally, that is when you have to kneel down and say, Lord, I thank you. Because even we make stuff a lot of time and we're like, oh shit, that's not gonna be good. But then when you're lucky enough to have the set design, the directors, the crew, the cast, just everything work together for the scoring. So I know that the stars are aligning. I just thank God is aligning in a situation where we have the opportunity to show the world this is what we're capable of. So I'm very proud and I'm ready. I'm ready for everything it's going to bring because it's going to change our lives. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you so much. My next question goes to Nancy. Okay. So there was a particular scene whereby you're about to butcher a body. And I want to get a sense of, because that's like a very, very scene where the audience is like, holy shit, what are they about to do? They're about to like, and it's not just anybody, it's on a wedding day. Like, so I want to get a sense of how you guys were able to navigate executing that scene, and also in terms of like what were you personally feeling or what was going through your mind when you're about to chop someone's body.
Right. So the most beautiful thing about being actors is, for we actors and for everyone behind, there's a prep that goes on. Okay. There's a prep that goes on with everyone else. For the audience members, it's new, it's the first time, and it hits you. But for us, there's been talks, there's been preparation, there's been how do we go about this, what do we do, what do we not do. I remember that I said, I'm glad we're talking about it, because I'm sure it will come out when people are already starting to watch, and it wouldn't be exactly a spoiler, but I'll also be careful with my words. I remember the scene. Initially in the script, it was written that I'd taken off my clothes, and I was, in my undies, and the director was like, oh no, we need to wear something over. And I was like, I don't feel like the dress should still be on. Like, I don't mind. I literally wore these really big ass panties and like big ass bra, and I'm like, this covers. But I need people to understand, because in real life, nobody's thinking about their clothes. First, as a murderer, you need to take off. Blood cannot be on what you're wearing. Like, and I don't want to bring that on. So we went back and forth with, oh, nudity, oh, no. And then we ended up with, we'll wear the bean bags over, like, okay, let's wear this. Let's have bean bags over us. And then you can see that in the scene where we're wearing big bean bags. And it went down to, okay, butchering. I think there was a point where they were like, oh, the blood, no, we don't want to be too gory. And I was like, I want the blood. I don't want to take this out. And that's the banter that goes on backstage. And we were like, okay, let's keep behind the scenes, and like, let's keep going. And then they said, okay, it's fine. You get the blood. And the blood came out while we were doing it. And when I watched it on TV, it looked fantastic. It looked amazing. So what was just going through our minds really was more about making sure that the viewers believed what we were doing. They were with us, and we had all the emotions, and as fantastic actors, and everything else was at our disposal. It wasn't like, oh, can we get this? And then, oh, we can't get it because the person is not here. It was just because, okay, what would he look like on television? So getting into that scene, it was one of the high points. In fact, it was a turning point for the entire film. Okay, it was the second or third turning point. The first point was the dead person. And just doing that, for me, I loved it. I loved every experience.
Isn't it just amazing how collaborative it was? And I really have to give it to the directors, because that's the kind of project we want to be part of, because it was so collaborative. They listened to us.
Yes.
It mattered, like for Biyi, even Kenneth, it mattered what we thought. It mattered our opinions. And even because we were very adamant on thinking that it would be better with just underwear. But from Director Biyi's point of view, he didn't want to exploit that situation. And he didn't want it to be more about the nudity over what was really happening, and striking that balance. And then we had that conversation. And then even when we wanted it to be more gory, we're like, okay, you know what, let's make this happen. And then immediately the entire team is like, okay, this is not what we planned, but let's make this happen. So it was just such an amazing collaborative process.
And as soon as it happened, everybody was like, yes, that was it. That was it. So yes, it is right. Collaborative, man. We could go on and on about this project, because it was a 2-month experience. In just a few minutes, we cannot put together what we experienced, what we put together. But I'm sure when people watch it, they would understand that even the extra, the waka pass, the waiter, the PAs, the coordinators, everybody was blood sister. Nobody was like, oh, my role is not that big, my role is not. Everybody literally understood the assignment, which is every single person on screen matters. And when I watched it, that's exactly how I felt. I didn't even feel like I was in the film. I just felt like I was a part of something where everybody was just on A game. When I told Ini about it, I was talking about other people's performance. I was like, this person, that person, this person, and this person. That's how I felt. So yes, if you haven't seen Blood Sisters yet, I doubt anybody has not seen it. Maybe their subscription is not yet on. That must be it. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What do you think is the meaning of Blood Sisters?
Now the title Blood Sisters is so layered and so meta. that is that if I really start to get into it, we won't leave here. But because you're having too much fun, I'm about to spoil your fun. I'll just be very brief in my response. For me, blood sisters on two layers is the fact that they were bonded by an act of spilling blood. So the act of spilling blood bonded them as sisters. You know, on another level, the covenant of spilling blood, the fact that they've spilled blood has covenanted them together on several. So it's just like we can keep going deep and deep, but that's just the.
Apart from the literal meaning, also like I was everything she had. Like, she lost her whole family, and that was everything she had. She's all I had. She's the only person I ever told my big secret in terms of what I was going through. Obviously, until I tell my mother in the show. But then, literally, figuratively, in every way, we were blood sisters.
Yeah. Thank you. Damilare from
Damilare,
Shock.
you're having too much fun.